Hi, Lisa. Hi, Becky. Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's 6:01. Hi, Mary. Hey, Chris. To those of you on YouTube, never has been anybody, but I'm talking to people on Facebook. You can always check that out. If you don't check it out, just know, trust me, I'm talking to people. Becky, Mary, Chris, Rachel, Lisa, they're all on Facebook. I'm simultaneously podcasting. Today is June 2nd, 2021. The time is 6:01 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hi, Kathy. And I will be the host for the next 40 minutes of what is known as Law and Disorder with your host, Ken Goldberg. Now, I tried to bring it, baby. I had to finish for that, but once I said bring it, I had to finish it. Law and Disorder. It used to be on Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m. on 105.3. I always say 103.5. 105.3 KYNG. And this is when I was broadcasting on weekends, on Sundays. Then we went to Saturday night, and then full time during the week, and then fired. So I found this. Remember, I said I have T-shirts I hadn't worn in I don't know how many years. The locomotion T-shirts, the T-shirt for the trip to France with my family, and now this is kind of the last of the memorabilia T-shirts. So here you go. I'm going to wear this tonight during the show. Law and Disorder with our logo and the time and the station. So good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to see you all here. I'm delighted to see me here because if it was Wednesday, 6:03, and I wasn't here, it would mean one of two things. One, I'm not here because I'm somewhere else, or two, I'm nowhere, which means phew. So I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here. I welcome you. I'm working on the subtitle for Law and Disorder. I think the subtitle is Hardcore Chatter. So your job, if you're listening to this podcast right now, is when you have some contribution to make, then you will use the comment line at the bottom of your Facebook screen or YouTube screen, whichever you're on, and you will at that time communicate with me in that fashion. And that will be how we chatter, because we're not going to chatter like in person. We're not going to sit around the fire pit and exchange pleasantries. That's not going to happen. Like, get that out of your mind. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you now. Maybe in the future, not tonight. Tonight, the only form of communication we can rely upon is the comment section in the Facebook or the YouTube video. So you now know. All right. So let me tell you about everything else that I wanted to discuss with you. Sarah, who's not here tonight, she likes music and themes and stuff, I know. And it kind of makes my job a little easier, a little harder. And here's what I mean. If you want a theme, a music theme for a show, and you want to tie it into what? You want to tie it into whatever you're going to talk about, but I never know what I'm going to talk about. So what I've had to do is What can I do that creates a tangential relationship to some music? Well, today's Wednesday. So I looked, is there music for Wednesday? I mean, Tuesday afternoon, I know that one. Manic Monday, I know that one. I didn't know any Wednesday tunes. So I pulled up a quote on Wednesday too, actually. So I like this one. On Wednesday, when the sky is blue and I have nothing else to do, I sometimes wonder if it's true that who is what and what is who. And then Lee Fox Williams is known for having said, Wednesdays are like Mondays in the middle of the week. So I started with those two quotes, and then I sought music. No, you can't be on. You have to go off. And I found that the Guess Who did a song that I'd never heard, Wednesday in Your Garden. I listened to it. It was pleasant enough. I thought, well, there's something I can expose you to. I didn't know that Charles Mingus had done a song called Wednesday Night Prayer Meeting. Now that's a jam. You should check it out. And then, just for no reason whatsoever, Yours Is No Disgrace by Yes, because we hadn't listened to Yes in a long time. Some of you have, but I haven't posted anything by Yes here. If I had, it certainly wasn't recent. So that's how you come to know what kind of the uh, the relationship between today's topic, not today's music, today's quotes, today, Wednesday. So we did that. I kind of thought maybe I'd find something. Remember the Addams Family? The little girl was called Wednesday. I thought maybe that might be somewhere to go with that, but I didn't. Since when do you stutter, boy? Stop stuttering. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I stuttered because I didn't know what I was going to say, and I'm not apologizing for nothing. Well, that's how hard-headed you are. Always with the I won't apologize. All right. So today I got up a little late. I don't know why. I have no excuse. I just did. So it was kind of challenging to get to my normal 7 a.m. 12-step meeting. So I did a little bit of Zoom with them instead of going live. And then I met with my Tuesday walker on Wednesday. I know, might mess up your mind, but here's what happened. So it's getting hot out, right? Summer's coming. And here's the thing. On Tuesday and Thursday, I lead meditation. I go to 12-step. I go to breakfast. By the time I get going, biking, hiking, whatever I'm going to do, man, it can be hot already, right? So Cynthia says, well, why don't we go on a day when you don't have such a crowded thing? Okay, that's Wednesday. So here we are. Good afternoon, good evening, Wednesday. I got out. We walked. For those of you that are local, you probably don't care, but we walked Hoblitzel Park in Plano. Now, Cynthia's first reaction is, what? Hoblitzel. I don't know why it's called Hoblitzel. What can I tell you? We went there. We walked it a little bit over 5 miles. Then we go to lunch, right? But in order to get to the place we were going to eat lunch, we had to drive right past Handel's Ice Cream Parlor. So, hey, let's stop and have an appetizer, right? I know you all dig that, man. Everybody listening, you like chocolate as an appetizer. If you don't, I don't know what to do. Your soul is lost. That's between you and God. So, like for instance, when I went to the party Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and the guy next to me says, oh, I baked a chocolate flourless cake for the party. And I'm like, well, I bought a pie at Kroger, in other words, I didn't do nothing, but I'm like, so tell me a little bit. And he's telling me that your soul is lost. He's telling me that he got this recipe from a friend who cooks for a very well-known local restaurant. I'm like, well, that's probably pretty good. And so he's saying, yeah, I use, he's telling me the ingredients. Like, I give a crap. It's chocolate. I don't care what the ingredients are. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, so pray tell, where would this flourless chocolate cake be at the moment? He said, well, it's inside. And I said, and what time are we scheduled to eat it? And he said, I don't think there's a schedule. So I'm like, well, we probably should schedule it in. Let me see. I have now available. Well, everybody's laughing. There was not many people. They're laughing. I'm serious as a heart attack. We're not going to eat for another hour, hour and a half. Why are we not hitting up on this flourless chocolate with ganache? So the hostess comes by. How are you doing? Would you like something to drink? Just some water. And are you offering this flourless chocolate cake? She said, I hadn't given it a thought. And I said, well, yes, I wouldn't mind some. So she said, okay, well, let's get out the cake. So she got out the cake, tasted a little bit of it. I got a piece. And she's like, I think I want a piece. Then the guy who baked it said, well, if you're going to be eating it, I'm going to eat it. And then this other one walks in. She wants it. We were chowing down, baby. Appetizer, chocolato, okay? And that was just the beginning of events. So the ice cream, man, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm 16 pounds over what I was when I arrived back from Thailand. I need to lose weight. The two critical elements of my fitness, my lifestyle are I eat too much, volume, doesn't matter. So you could send me to a fat camp, right? Well, you don't have to send me. I volunteered for fat camp a couple of times, and they were like, you can only have so many calories, right? We're going to do this activity and that activity. We're going to keep you busy. You're going to lose lots of weight. Except I was ready to hurt people after a while because I'm burning, baby. I need some calories. When I went back the next year to this fitness place, the lady in charge told them to give me all the food I wanted. Now, understand, these people were feeding us rabbit food. This was organic rabbit food. So giving me all I want was nice. It was helpful because I think they were on like 1,500 calories a day. I typically am on a 1,500 calories per meal plan. So overeating by volume is it's a problem. And the next one is sugar, carbs. I love bread. I love cheese bread. I love raisin bread. I love, I don't know. I'm big on bread, right? So come and go, right? Chocolate, ice cream, chocolate cake, chocolate candy, apple pie, ice cream, pie, cake. I'm just going down the list of things I like to eat. And 7-Up. Okay, if you can eat all the leafy stuff you want, and I do. I eat a lot of leafy stuff. I eat a lot of veggies. If you topping off your caloric consequence day, that is, I was good. I didn't eat a lot of meat. I didn't eat a lot of fat. But you decide you deserve a cupcake. You deserve ice cream. You deserve whatever. Mary apparently chooses ice cream. Then you already can probably guess why I have a weight issue. I'm supposed to be 155. I used to be 5'7". I was just measured by the medical community. And do you know what they said? I'm 5'6". Let's assume that's true. I don't know. I couldn't see because I had still stand like that, right? What that means is that I'm shrinking. It means just like my forefathers, just like my ancestors, just like all yours, I'm getting smaller as I get older. So I certainly have to be more cautious about volume. Happy Hippie sandwich from Uncle Uber's is healthy. And then to the pie store, the Pie Emporium around the corner. Chris knows. If I get down to Deep Ellum, where we often bicycle to eat, I have to steel myself to not go to the Pie Emporium and get the Lord of the Pies, which is a deep dish apple pie that I don't need any ice cream with it. It's delightful unto itself. So, how did I get started on my weight? I was telling you that I had ice cream for an appetizer. Oh, and by the way, I made it to the Chop Shop, which is a salad place, and I got some healthy food after I'd already had ice cream. Came home and started looking around for something sweet to munch on before the show. I ate a bunch of fruit. We'll see. We'll see if that holds me. So, welcome. It is June 2nd. It's 6:16. 7 o'clock tonight, I lead a meditation for the Buddhist temple. The Buddhist temple is located at 8484 Stoltz Road in Dallas, Texas. The temple that I'm associated with, just filling you in on some of the details because most of you don't live here, or if you live here, you haven't been there. It's a Thai Buddhist temple. Thais practice Theravada Buddhism. There are three main sects, lineages, I don't know how you classify it, of Buddhism. The one that I've been practicing, Theravada, is found in Thailand. And since I have always been associated with Thai Buddhist tradition and practice, when I moved here 10 years ago, I was invited to take over teaching meditation to Anglos at the temple. So I had been doing that for about 9 years. When the pandemic hit, they shut it down completely. I mean, they didn't just shut my meditation group. They shut the temple down. The monks quarantined, essentially. So we are going to resume next week. It's June 9th. On Wednesday, we're going to have our first group in-person meditation at the temple since they closed our county on March 16th of last year. So tonight will be my last Zoom-only podcast, or whatever you call it, a meditation. And then next week, we will try a hybrid. But the important thing is, it's time for me to go back to the in-person. It's time. So I have maybe 6 people on Zoom the past year, very 6, 7 people, sometimes less. In person, we typically had 30 to 40 people every week that I led. So this is actually a little neurotic. This is anxiety-inducing, going back after a year. Based on the membership in my Facebook group called Buddhist Center of Dallas Meditation Group on Facebook, there's a lot of people potentially that I've never met. They're going to show up. I never was intimidated by that in the past. I just showed up every Wednesday, week in, week out, and taught. And I didn't seem to suffer any anxiety. But after being home, I don't even know this. Here's one of my sources of anxiety. I sit on a cushion in person, a meditation cushion. I haven't sat on that cushion for over a year. I don't know that it took my body time to be able to sit on a cushion instead of a chair. It took time for my body to get acclimated to a cushion. And folks, I'm not going to sit on the cushion this week, like in training. I don't see that happening. Anyways, that's the real deal. So that's going to happen at 7 o'clock tonight. So let's get on with the topic. Let's try to get quasi-serious and talk about what, yesterday I said, what would you do? Now, how did I phrase it? I said, the song, The Very Last Day, everybody's going to pray on the judgment day. When they hear that bell, did you say you were going out of town again? No, I'd like to. So The very last day became the topic yesterday, and you guys had some great input. Here's for those of you that missed it. What we were talking about is I put forth two hypotheses. One, religion originated out of a fear of death, and two, that everybody has some measure of instinctual desire or instinct, maybe just leave it instinct, um, to um, to survive, to live. Even when extraordinary pain and difficulties assail us, our bodies and our minds are telling us to survive. And I've studied survivors. I read about survivors. I've interviewed survivors of traumatic incidents. I mean, I was fascinated by the guy who wrote, what was it, 72 Hours? The kid that went freestyle climbing, rock climbing, and got caught in a boulder with his arm and cut off his own arm. And that's how he got out. And I don't know, maybe it was 100 and something hours. I don't know. You guys will know. Anyways, I really was fascinated by that. I saw the movie with Franco. I read the book. Fascinating measures that he undertook to survive, up to including cutting his own arm off without anesthesia with a penknife, a small knife. The things he had to do to free himself, extraordinary, extraordinary. I'm pretty sure I just would have died. Chris, there are chairs at the temple. There's about a dozen chairs. So usually there's only about 4 people using the chairs. Most people sit on the floor. You will be more than welcome to use a chair, you and or Becky, both. Yeah, there's about 12 chairs, and there's always been chairs available. He's asking about the meditation at the temple. Are there chairs at the temple? A Theravada temple is not without its chairs, but let me tell you something else you didn't know about Buddhism. There are 2 sects, lineages within Thai Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism. One is called Tamayutta. Tamayutta was the forest monk. There's a whole explanation behind being a forest monk, but the quick description is they tended to meditate and thrive in outside of villages, in forests, in caves and stuff. Tamayutta. They were still Theravada monks, but they were Tamayutta. And then there's Mahanakai, and the Mahanakai tended, or Mahanakaya, either one is appropriate. It were monks who primarily resided within villages and became teachers and taught scripture to people in the village. So, this is a Tamayutta temple, and because these monks were raised in a more kind of, they're more reserved. They're more into meditation than a Mahanakai monk would be, and they don't use cushions at all. And they invited me to ordain about 5 years ago. They said, "Would you like to ordain?" And at the time, I said no. And then I came back and said, "Would I be able to use a cushion? Because I'm old." And the monk that I was talking to, he didn't think that was a good idea. So I told him I didn't think so. I used a cushion in Thailand. The monks did not. I did. Nobody even looked crosswise. So back to the very last day, and a footnote. Chris has reached the age where his hips don't bend anymore. Now, I said age. He didn't say that. This could be the multitude of accidents that he's suffered that his hips don't bend anymore. I will tell you this. They invited me to dance Sunday at the party. They were playing music and people were getting up and dancing, a static dance, not like, it wasn't really, I don't even know how to describe it. Anyways, I did get up and shake it a little bit, but I explained to people, I'm not going to sit here and dance because over the years, my hips have lost contact with my head. And so when I move my body, when I was young, if I moved my hips one way, I had a plan which way I wanted to move my head or my shoulders. And so I moved my body in concert with itself. As the years have gone by, there is no communication between the lower body and the upper body. In the absence of that type of needed communication, when I dance, it looks as though I've taken drugs, I'm on fire, something's wrong. It doesn't look like dancing. It looks like somebody who's just kind of losing it, right? So I don't dance anymore. Maybe I never did, but that's my explanation, is my hips just don't connect to the shoulders of the head. On the very last day, everybody gonna pray when they hear that bell. So B.B. King said it best, and you're going to be welcome to comment after you hear this. You probably heard it, but maybe I'm bringing it to mind right now. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. Okay? And I think that's pretty much sums it up. And I talked yesterday about the fact that some people really, really, really need to believe in a heaven or a hell or rebirth or reincarnation, because the fear of being nothing is extraordinary. It can be very, very oppressive, right? And it's hard to look through nothing to something. What I mean by that is it's always hard for me to just imagine no more. Because when I try to imagine it, I scare myself. I have to refrain from trying to imagine post-death because I have no frame of reference. I make one up, and the one I make up is pretty scary. I enjoy reading also some things, not a lot, but I enjoy reading something about from people who have written on the subject of life after death. People who were declared dead at the hospital or by paramedics in their home. You know, the heart wasn't beating. There was no brain activity when you do the EEG, whatever it is. And then through whatever, the shock thing or whatever it is, adrenaline straight to the heart shot, they came about and they were no longer dead. It's not uncommon for people like that to report things like a bright light that they were moving towards, and then they came back. They saw people that they had lost years ago, they waiting for them. There's a lot of different reports, but there is absolutely a number of people who went towards the light. In other words, they were in a hospital bed. There were doctors standing around saying, that they're flatlining, and they came back and said, around that time, I was moving towards the light. And then next thing I knew, I was opening my eyes and I was in the hospital, and they said, oh my God, you died for a period of time. Technically, these people died because of either a lack of heart activity or brain activity or both. So I think that the best I'm going to be able to do to process is I'm going to, try not to imagine afterwards, because I don't have a heaven, a hell, or a rebirth, or reincarnation. It's probably not doing me a great deal of good. What I am focused on is what I told you in Buddhism was a calmness, an equanimity that should accompany us at the end of our life. How? How do you do that? How, in the midst of this significant fear that most of us have reported having at one time or another, how would you navigate? What do you do to prepare? If you can't imagine what it's like after you die, how can you imagine dying? And what I've been doing, my preparation work, is to just imagine that I am breathing, I'm meditating, I'm staying in the moment, I'm aware of the ending moment arrival, and I've just I've done the most acceptance I will ever do in my life. You know, my life really revolves, when healthy, around acceptance. Acceptance I lost money. Acceptance I lost a friend. Acceptance we broke up. Acceptance my mom passed. Acceptance my dear friends are gone. Acceptance that the car is broke down and I need to get somewhere. My life really is on pivots around constantly having to go to a place of acceptance. Now, can I bring that same acceptance to the types of fear that we've discussed? I don't know. I don't know how I would know until it comes. But I have been in situations where you got that adrenaline dump. You're driving down the highway and there's not much of a shoulder or maybe no shoulder, and the truck on your left is coming in your lane. And if you hit the brakes too hard, the guy behind you is going to hit you, and then maybe into whatever it is, the truck's going to hit you, drive you into the wall, and maybe over onto whatever it is, right? So there's this immediate adrenaline dump and a hope to somehow survive. And I mean, if you haven't had that, you're probably, I'm guessing, in the minority. I'm guessing that everybody's had some incident that just scared the bejesus out of them. And I don't think you see a truck coming and go, oh, breathe. I mean, you have to react. You have to let fear help manage the circumstance if possible. Fear tells you hit the brake. Fear tells you to steer wide. Fear tells you whatever, duck. I don't know. Fear is going to be giving input, I believe. We train soldiers to engage with enemies and to try not to be victimized by their fear. But I don't think we teach them there won't be fear, but how do you react to fear? This is my goal. My goal is that when the end of days comes, tomorrow, later tonight, 20 years from now, whatever it is, that my focus will be on staying present, breathing, and what I call go with dignity. Go with dignity. By the way, the name of the statute, or the nickname of the statute in Oregon that I've mentioned about kind of like euthanasia, but not quite, a doctor can prescribe a package of medications to persons who are within 6 months of passing. They suffer from a terminal illness, and the doctor does not see any chance of survival, and the patient wishes to proceed with death with dignity. Okay? So me, I also wish to have my death be dignified. In my case, I'm hoping I don't just start screaming, ah! I hope that, if there's any witnesses, they will say, oh, he went peacefully. I think going peacefully as a goal for me, and I'm asking you to consider it, going peacefully does a lot for everybody. Let's pretend we're in a hospital or hospice. In other words, let's pretend that in these, what are probably the final moments, there are people working with us. Medical people, social service, whatever. Let's assume that we have family who are aware of our imminent demise and have showed up. What possible benefit will anybody derive from your fear, from your, just freaking out? I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm saying freaking out, just grasping, right? I think that in some ways, some of the fear I have associated with something like death or even hospitalization is seeing movies, reading books, talking to people who have suffered and freaked. I mean, I've been bedside with people who were flipping out and were really not wanting to go. I've watched a million movies with people that, they got shot and they're like, please, please, don't let me die, don't let me die. You're sitting there going, don't let him die, don't let him die. But he was the bad guy a minute ago. I know, but he's not so sad. Don't let him die. I've seen this, and so uh, I think it feeds into my anxiety. So let me put it out there. Is anybody got a tactic, what you believe is a genuine tactic for ameliorating or alleviating what I believe is almost this inevitable, fear's not it, it's freaking out. I think it's more than fear. I think most people freak out. So I put that out there. You only have a few minutes if you wish to respond. You don't have to, because then we're going to do meta and we're going to move on. Okay, so, and I'm taking questions from the audience also at this time. I like to save a little bit of time. No, I don't normally do this. I'm just killing the clock. As at this time, I like to do my usual taking questions from the audience. So feel free to proffer your questions and I'll do my best. I forget that I'm alone and turn the chair to me, or that there is someone in the next room. I forget I'm alone. Oh, and turn to the chair by you, like you're going to talk to them, or thinking there's somebody in the next room. Well, I don't talk to anybody here except the cats. I don't remember, Kathy, if you got the cat. I know you were talking about the cat. I thought you got a cat. I think I told you get two, so they keep each other company. I bought a new bedspread, and I paid a lot of money for it. It's not a bedspread. It's a duvet cover. I had a duvet cover. You've seen it in the past. And anyways, I bought it. It's magnificent Italian made, a very soft material. I love it, but looking at it every day for almost 2 years. So I saw they had on sale, the same company had a new duvet cover. So I bite the bullet, I buy it. It came, I didn't open it up right away. I waited. I opened it up yesterday. It is not soft. It's a harder fabric. It's not bright as the picture depicted. But I'm using it. I bring this up because, so I put the duvet inside the duvet cover, and I haven't made the bed because, for those of you that know anything about duvet covers, I can't get the duvet in there so that it's covered properly. It's just all crumpled up. What you need all four ends to be at the four ends of the cover. So I just threw it on the bed, and then last night I kind of covered my feet. Well, the cats seem to be having a good time. I came in a little bit ago, and all three cats were on this crumpled up duvet. And I'm like, oh, I can't return it now. They like it. Well, if I told you how much it cost, you'd tell me send that bad boy back. All right. So the questions from the audience, I think I handled the questions well. I think that nobody in my position could have done any better with the questions you threw at me, despite whatever heckling you've been doing. Here I am. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. And I all I can say is I made it. I made it. I made it with you or without you. And if you decide you had a question at 6:50, I'm sorry, man. I won't be able to answer right away. But I bring that up because I want to encourage you to go ahead and write. Because what will happen is sometime later in the evening, I'll get a notification from Facebook say, Kathy made a comment. And then I'll go. And when I get there, there'll be the question. So glad you're still standing. I'm still standing. Elton John, by the way. I think what I need is for Mark McDougall to pick out from time to time 3 songs and send me the links earlier in the day, and then I can insert those. That will take some of this pressure off, because it seems to me that Mark and maybe Ann, I don't know who's in charge of their music list, have one of the more extensive uh, collections on their music list of eclectic music, all types of music. And I think it would be nice to kind of get a taste from somebody else other than me of what is good music. Because first off, I post what I think is good, but sometimes I'm just posting something because thematically it fits in. Like the Guess Who tonight. I'm not sure it's a great song. It's okay. If you look at the comments on YouTube afterwards, it's like, oh, what a great song. And I'm like, I mean, it's not their hit. They had hits. This ain't one of their hits, but it's pleasant. He's got a good voice, don't you think? All right. So Mark has agreed to send me some links, like 3 that go to the songs that we can share with the people, because like I said, every time you post a song and you go to it, Mark does that, he on his Facebook, you go to it, it brings up this whole list. I have no idea how extensive it is. Perhaps he'll share the number with us, but it's extensive and it's eclectic. So it's, my music is eclectic. I got gospel, I've got choral music, I've got hip hop, I've got jazz, I got salsa, I got lots of different music. But I don't have, there's still a ton more music I don't have. And he seems to have the other ton. If I have a ton over here, he's got a ton over here. So which weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of lead? Trick question. Knock, knock. Who's there? Dwayne. Dwayne who? Dwayne the bathtub. I'm drowning. Ha! All right. Time for a little metta before I go meditate. But this is a form of meditation. Hands before our hearts. Eyes closed. Bow the head. Take a deep breath. This is how we do metta, a Theravada Buddhist practice of generating loving kindness. Always for ourselves first. May I be happy, healthy, free from all harm, free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice bring me to a space and a place of greater peace and comfort. May my mother and father and all my family members and all my friends be happy and healthy, free from all harm, finding a path that guides them to a life of greater peace and comfort. And to those persons I find difficult, whatever ill will I harbor, I can reasonably set that aside momentarily, so I may send those persons goodwill, so they may be happy, healthy, free from harm, enjoying lives, peace, comfort, joy. And to all living beings throughout the universe, wherever they may be, may they be the recipients of our collective metta, our collective compassion and kindness. May all living beings be happy, healthy, free from harm. May they all live their lives in safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. Well, thank you, Becky, Chris, and everybody else who is here. I imagine Joan may have been hiding out somewhere in that, all of that. And I assume that you're welcome. You're welcome, Mark and Ann and Chris and Becky and Lisa and Kathy and Mary and Rachel and anybody else who is hiding in the woods, afraid to expose themselves for fear of being ridiculed by the rest of everybody. I understand that. I too always fear the derision of my peers, but I would have assured you you were in a safe space, a safe place. But you're gone now, so there's nothing I can do for you except adios, bye, hasta luego, see you tomorrow. And to be clear, 6 o'clock tomorrow, I have every intention of being in this chair in front of this computer, communicating to whoever shows up. Peace out.